Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Vibha Sharma, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Public Administration, MCMDAV College, Chandigarh. Introduction to the module. In this module, we will discuss about the history of Indian administration from the ancient times till the present time. The Indian administration basically has not changed much since the British era, and we have followed the traditions of the British era. In fact, most of the institutions have been retained by us. In the recent times, in order to bring transparency in the system, the government has introduced Citizen Charter, Right to Information, and other such measures to give a clean government to the people of India. The learning objectives of this module are to understand the contemporary Indian administrative system, its features during the ancient Mughal and British phases, as well as to understand the origin and development of public administration. This is the slide on the pillars of democracy. The pillars of democracy include representation through elections, freedom, rule of law, human rights, secularism, and individual liberty. The next slide has the preamble, and this preamble is the original one as well as the contemporary one depicted in this slide. Now, this slide is concerned with what is public administration. Administration is a subsystem of the political system, that is, an instrument of a political system to execute its purposes efficiently. It is a combination of theory and practice. It promotes a superior understanding of government and its relationship with the society that it governs. It encourages socially responsive public policies, as well as institutes managerial practices attuned to effectiveness, efficiency, and a deeper human requisites of the citizenry. Felix A. Nigro gives a comprehensive definition of public administration. It is a cooperative group effort in a public setting, covers all three branches, executive, legislative, and judicial, and their interrelationships, has an important role in the formulation of public policy and thus is a part of the political process, is different in significant ways from private administration, and is closely associated with numerous private groups and individuals in providing services to the community. This slide shows the image of Woodrow Wilson, father of public administration. Now let us discuss the history of Indian administration. Administrative theory can be viewed as that aspect of history which has its bearing and linkages with the political and governing institutions of the country. The history of Indian administration is divided into ancient, Mughal, and British eras. The first phase, the first era, ancient phase. Different types of administrative systems were in operation in different phases. It is considered that administrative system was started during the Indus Valley civilization. Excavations have indicated that governance in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa was systematic due to the facts that the roads and drainage system was found to be methodologically planned. This also showed that there existed municipal governments which looked after the needs of public and made systematic arrangements for the city governance. This image shows the Indus Valley civilization. There is a standard type of house, a common system of weights and measures, and common script that was the main feature of this civilization. More images during the Indus Valley civilization, the seals as well as the drainage system. The next period is the Rig Vedic period. During this period, administrative units were known as Kul, Gram, Vish and Nation. The smallest unit was family. The head of the village was known as Gramini. Group of villages constituted a Vish under Vishpati. Numerous Vishes constituted a Jan under the administrative head called Gopa, who represented the king. The state was developed form of these villages. The form of government was monarchical and the kingship was hereditary, yet the king was generous in nature. Post-Vedic period. There was a natural increase in the number of officers in administration like finance, inspection, defense. The king used to take advice from Council of Ministers for the smooth functioning of the administration. Council of Ministers were headed by Mukhya Natya. The Sabha and the Samiti used to put limit on the autocracy of the king. The local governments were active under a special minister whose task was to control rural administration and settle disputes. The king was himself head of the judicial administration and was assisted by a number of officials. The epic period. The form of government during the epic age of Ramayana and Mahabharata was monarchical and public administration was sufficiently developed. The head of administration was king, ministers and consuls advised him in governance matters. The main aim of the state was to fulfill dharma, to encourage morality, increase prosperity, happiness of people and safeguard their interests. The state was called Saptangi in Mahabharata by Ved Vyas. The king set an example of high ideals and performance of one's duties. He was also responsible for the welfare of his subjects with special emphasis to merit in administrative recruitment. This slide shows an image of the Mauryan period. It was an era of major development in history of Indian administration, where the empire was divided into provinces, provinces into districts, districts into rural and urban centers for efficient administration. There was a lot of decentralization and villages played a vital role. This slide shows Chanakya, the great Indian political scientist and economist. During the Mauryan period, the king had supreme and sovereign authority. He had supreme executive, legislative, judicial powers of the government. He was the supreme commander of the army and headed the military administration. He was an efficient and well-organized hierarchy of bureaucrats who assisted him in the performance of the functions. Functionaries were conducted by several departments headed by superintendents and a band of clerks, accountants and spies. This slide depicts the medieval or the Mughal phase, which is also considered the second phase. Structure of Mughal administrative system. The entire administrative machinery revolved around the king. He was viewed as the father figure or a king despot by his people. The empire was divided into subas or provinces and provinces into sarkars. Subedar or governor headed the provinces. Sarkars were ruled by officers appointed by the empire and those under the tributary rajas. This slide shows the structure of the Mughal government. Police administration during the Mughal era. In the rural areas, policing was undertaken by the village headman and his subordinate watchmen. In the cities and towns, police duties were entrusted to kotwalis. In the districts, law and order functions were entrusted to faujdars. Revenue administration. The wazir or diwan were in charge of the system at the center, who was assisted by junior functionaries called munsif and mustafi. There was a public record office and the diwan signed revenue documents including major collection and payments. Civil justice. The liberal among them did not strictly enforce the Islamic law, which was not acceptable to a large majority of Hindu population. There were two types of tribunals. The king was the supreme court of both the original and the appellate jurisdiction. Personal administration. The Mughal Mansabdari system was a mixture of Hindu feudalism and Persian borrowings, combining the military and the civil administration. These Mansabdars had three categories determined on the basis of the number of horses or elephants which each Mansabdar had to maintain. Recruitment was on the basis of caste, kin, hereditary and personal loyalty to the king. Promotion system followed include fixed criteria with loyalty as a major characteristics. The third phase include the British rule in India, and this slide shows the British flag. British rule in India. Various significant legislations and acts were passed, such as the Charter Act of 1853, Pitt's India Act, Government of India Act 1919, and Government of India Act 1935. Structural, procedural, financial management reforms were introduced at all the levels, that is central, state and local. Features of Indian administration during the British era. Central government and administration. Diarchy was introduced by the Government of India Act 1919 and later at the central level through Government of India Act 1935. At the centre, a bicameral legislature was also introduced. Lord Canning introduced the portfolio system in 1861. Office of the Cabinet Secretariat was introduced in 1784. Office of the Council of Ministers and executive agencies were introduced. The split system of administration was initiated, that is, separation between policy making and policy implementation. State administration. The post of governor, the state secretariat was there on the pattern of the central secretariat created by the British. District administration. District administration was established as a unit of administration. The post of district collector, created by Warren Hastings in 1772, was significant. Lord Ripon passed Ripon Resolution in 1882 to create rural and urban local governments. Law and order administration. Police station as a basic unit of law and order was created. The post of SP, IGP, etc. and the Department of Criminal Investigation was created. Rule of law and judicial independence was introduced by the British. Legislations like Police Act 1861, Indian Penal Code 1860 and Indian Evidence Act of 1872 are the major legislation of the present police and judicial system. Revenue administration. Budget was introduced in 1860. Central Revenue Department created in 1860 to integrate and coordinate the activities of all revenue authorities. Imperial Audit Department Audit Board was set up. The post of CAG was created. Central Public Accounts Committee, Standing Finance Committees were created. Besides this, the paper currency was introduced in 1860. The Government of India Act 1935 established the Reserve Bank of India. This slide we have Lord Morley as well as Lord William Bentinck, two people who have introduced various reforms during the British era in the Indian system. Personal administration. The most important legacy was the creation of civil service. Merit-based service originated with the submission of Macaulay Report in 1854. The idea of specific age limit to complete in the examination was also evolved in 1854. A well-developed pay structure for civil servants was devised. Federal Public Service Commission was created in 1926 and entrusted with the task of recruiting civil servants. The training system was institutionalized by setting up William College in 1800 at Calcutta. Here are some of the popular figures of the Indian independence: Mahatma Gandhi, Shahid Bhagat Singh, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first President of India, and a collage of the Indian freedom fighters. All the administrative functions of the Indian administration are drawn from the Constitution of India. Parliamentary type of democracy, both at the center and the state level, where the executive is held responsible in front of the elected legislature. The Constitution is of a federal nature, where the functions are divided between the union government and the state, and the government has three branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. A few facts regarding the Constitution. The original Constitution of India was handwritten by Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada. This slide shows his image. Here we have Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Dr. Rajendra Prasad in their offices performing their constitutional duties. This slide shows the different types of courts in India. There are three types: the Supreme Court at the apex, the High Court at the state level, and the district courts at the district level. They collectively form the judicial system in India. This slide shows the current President and the Prime Minister of India, followed by a slide showing the inside seating arrangement of the Parliament, one of the House of the Parliament of India. In the other slide, we have our respectable Prime Minister and Finance Minister sitting and attending the proceedings of the Parliament. The next slide deals with state administration. Each state has a similar structure of government headed by the governor reporting to the president. The chief minister, the council of ministers are the real functionaries, and we have members of the legislative assembly who are democratically elected. The legislative powers are distributed between the parliament, central government, and state legislature, state government, as per the 7th schedule of the Constitution. The council of ministers with chief minister as head of the legislative assembly advise the governor in carrying out the functioning of the government. Now let us deal with district administration. The states are divided into divisions and divisions are divided into districts. The district collector runs the administration of the district. The district is divided in blocks and administration is taken care by the local government. The local government is the regulation and administration of local affairs, both at the rural and the urban level. The representatives are elected by the residents of that particular local area. Yes, students, now let us come to the conclusion of this module. India, we have seen through various slides, has evolved in the system of governance. During different times, we had different forms of government, from monarchy to democracy. Today, we have a democratic system of governance in which we have a government which is made of the representatives of the people. This government is run at the central, state, and local levels by our representatives. We can easily conclude by saying that we have a democratic tradition which is as per the ancient systems, and we have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. I'm sure students, you have understood the module. Thank you very much.